Welcome friends. In this module, we are going to study the data structure trees. The objectives of this module are to get an idea about the tree structure used in computers, to understand the operations possible on trees, to learn about the tree representation within a computer, to have a knowledge about the various terminologies associated with trees, to be familiar with the different types of trees. The data structures like arrays, linked lists, stacks and queues are linear in nature. Trees are the most frequent data structures in our day-to-day life and are non-linear data structures. In a linked list, each node points to another node, but in a tree structure, each node may point to several other nodes. Hence, tree is a flexible and powerful data structure that can be used for a variety of applications. A tree structure is useful to represent the relationship of family members. If a person called Sridhar has 3 children named Asha, Santa and Sanjay, and Santa has 2 children named Madhu and Manu. Asha has only one daughter called Kripa. Hence, Sridhar and his descendants can be represented naturally with a tree structure as given below. Each node in the tree contains a data part to hold the name and one or more pointers to link with other nodes. In a general tree, the nodes may contain any number of pointers to other tree nodes, but a special type of tree called binary tree contains only 2 pointers to other tree nodes. Sometimes a tree is referred such as each node giving birth to those nodes immediately below it. In this sense, these immediate descendants are referred as children and the immediate ancestor is referred as parent. The nodes with the same parent are called siblings. Thus, in a binary tree, each parent has at most 2 children. Binary trees. A binary tree is a finite set of elements that is either empty or is partitioned into 3 disjoint subsets. The first subset contains only a single element called the root of the tree. The other 2 subsets are binary trees called the left and right subtree of the original tree. The left or right subtree may be empty. Each element of the binary tree is referred to as nodes. A simple binary tree is given in the figure. The given tree contains 10 nodes and A is the root. Its left subtree is another binary tree rooted with B and right subtree is rooted with C. The absence of a branch indicates an empty subtree. Both subtrees of E and F are empty and right subtree of G is empty. In computer terminology, root is at the top of the tree and leaves are at the bottom. Hence, going from leaves to root is called climbing the tree and going from root to the leaves is called descending the tree. The number of nodes connected to a particular node is called the degree of that node. In the above figure, the node labeled D has degree 3. The degree of a leaf node is always 1. The level of a node is used to indicate the position of the node in the tree structure. The root is at level 0 and the level of any other node in the tree is 1 more than the level of its parent node. For example, in the above figure, node B is at level 1, D at level 2 and J at level 3. The depth of a binary tree is the maximum level of any leaf in the tree and it is equal to the length of the longest path from the root to any node. If every non-leaf node in the binary tree has non-empty left and right subtrees, the tree is called a strictly binary tree. A complete binary tree is depicted in the following figure. A complete binary tree of depth D is a strictly binary tree with all leaves at the same level D. A complete binary tree of depth 2 is given below. Traversal of binary tree. The traversal of a binary tree is to visit each node in the tree exactly once. In the case of a linear list, nodes can be visited from first to last, but there is no such order for nodes of a tree. Hence, the order of nodes visited makes the difference between methods of tree traversal. For the binary tree traversal, there are three popular methods called in-order traversal, pre-order traversal and post-order traversal. Since the binary tree is recursive in the way that each subtree is again a binary tree, traversing the binary tree involves visiting the root node and then traversing its right and left subtrees. The difference between methods lies in the order in which these three operations are performed. To traverse a non-empty binary tree in order, first traverse the left subtree in order, visit the root, traverse the right subtree in order. To traverse a non-empty binary tree in pre-order, visit the root, traverse the left subtree in pre-order, traverse the right subtree in pre-order. To traverse the non-empty binary tree in post-order, traverse the left subtree in post-order, traverse the right subtree in post-order and visit the root. For example, consider the following binary tree. The in-order traversal of the given tree produces the string A plus B star C minus D. The pre-order traversal generates the string star plus AB minus CD, and the post-order gives the string AB plus CD minus star as the result of the given tree traversal. Representation of binary tree. The structure of each node in the binary tree contains the data field and two pointer fields. One points to the left child and the other to the right child. The structure that defines the node of a binary tree is as given here. Struct node, node star left, in data, node star right. The pictorial representation of a tree node is given below. Like stacks and queues, binary trees can also be represented using either an array or a linked list. Array representation of binary trees. The simple method to store a binary tree is by using a single contiguous block of memory cells for the entire array. In this approach, the tree's root node is stored in the first cell of the block. The left child of the root node is stored in the second cell and the right child in the third cell. In general, the left and right children of the node stored in nth cell would be found in cell 2n and 2n plus 1 respectively. An empty subtree is marked with a unique bit pattern that indicates the absence of data. Another representation of binary tree is by using three separate arrays. One array stores the data field of the tree and other two arrays represent the left child and right child of the nodes. Suppose data, LC and RC are the arrays for data, left child and right child respectively. These can be represented as given below. Here the arrays LC and RC contains the index of data array where data is present. If it contains no left child or right child, the index will be -1 to indicate the null. The zeroth element in the array, that is, the first element of the array, will always be the root. Some elements of the data array is the null string represented by /0 to indicate that the empty child. To get a clear understanding of the above representation, consider an example. Suppose we need to find out the left and right child of the node C. Then we have to find the value present at index 2 of LC and RC, since C's index in the data array is 2. The value at index 2 in LC is 7 and RC is 10. Thus, left child of C is empty and right child is H. Linked representation of binary trees. Binary trees can be represented by links in which each node contains the address of the left child and the right child. The leaf node contains null value in its link fields since there is no child to a leaf. Some nodes other than leaf node contains a null value in its left or right link field to indicate that the corresponding child of that node will be empty. A linked representation of binary tree is given here. A pointer variable root points to the root of the tree. If the subtree of any of the node is empty, the corresponding link contains a null value. If the tree itself is empty, then the pointer root will contain the null value. In this figure, link fields of A contain the address of the nodes B and C. The right link of E and left link of G consists of null, which means that the right subtree of E and left subtree of G are empty. The nodes D, F, H, I contain a null in both the link fields because these are the leaf nodes of the given tree. As with other data structures, searching of a node, insertion of a node and deletion of nodes are possible on binary trees. Applications of binary trees. There are various applications of a binary tree. A binary tree is the best option when it is necessary to take a two-way decision. A binary search tree or BST provides such an application in which all the elements in the left subtree of a node n are less than the content of n and all the elements in the right subtree of n are greater than or equal to the content of n. Binary trees are also used to represent expressions. A binary tree representing arithmetic expression is called expression trees. When the expression tree is traversed in pre-order, then the prefix form of the expression is obtained. Similarly, if the tree is traversed in order, it will yield the infix form, and if it is traversed in post order, the postfix notation of the expression is obtained. The structure of the binary tree decides the order of the evaluation of the tree. Customized data types. The elementary data types used in computer programming are integer, real, character and boolean. These are presented as the primitive data types in many of the programming languages. In this section, we are going to see the methods by which a programmer can define his own data types so as to fit the particular application. User defined data types. Programming will be easier if some data types suitable for the application are available rather than the primitive types. Hence, modern programming languages allow programmers to define new data types using the primitive data types. Such data types are called user defined data types. This is actually a collection of some of the primitive data types referenced by a single new name. A heterogeneous array can be considered as a new user defined data type. After defining this new type, it can be used as a primitive type to define variables of this type. For example, to define a new type called student type consisting of components called name of type character, age of type integer, marks of type real and grade of type character. The pseudocode to define this new type may be of the form define type student type to be char name of 20, int age, real marks, char grade. This student type can now be used to declare variables of this type in the same way as primitive types are used. For example, the statement student type student1 assumes the variable student1 to be of type student type, which means that student1 consists of a name, age, marks and grade. The individual components can be referenced as student1.name, student1.age, student1.marks and student1.grade. Multiple variables can be declared in the same line like student type, student1, student2, student3. Defining a user defined type would not allocate any memory to store the values. The memory will be allocated only when the variables or instances of this type are declared. A user defined data type is just a template that can be used to construct instance of that type. Abstract data type. The concept of a user defined type is advantageous in many ways, but it does not provide a completely new type. A complete data type consisting of two parts such as a predetermined storage system and a collection of predefined operations. The primitive data types in a programming language allow the programmer to apply primitive operations on variables of that type without further specifications. Traditional user-defined types allow the programmer to define new storage systems, but does not provide any operations to be performed on data with these structures. User-defined data types that include definitions of operations are called abstract data types. Thus, abstract data type makes the user-defined data type a complete one. In order to make a user-defined data type a complete data type, we should expand the definition of the defined type statement to include procedures as well as data descriptions. For example, the following statement defines a user-defined type called stack. Define type stack to be in stack items of 25 in stack top equal to 0. Here a new type called stack is defined, but there is no specification for pushing new elements into the stack and popping out the elements out of the stack. This problem is solved by expanding the definition to include the procedures for push and pop. Hence, the statements of the form define type stack to be int stack items of 25, int stack top equal to 0, procedure push of value, stack items of stack top equal to value, stack top equal to stack top plus 1, procedure pop int item stack top equal to stack top minus 1, item equal to stack items of stack top return item. Specifies that the new type called stack consists of an array and a stack pointer along with the definitions of procedures for stack manipulation. In 1980s, languages like Ada used this concept in program design. Now, object-oriented languages provide the extended versions of abstract data types called classes. Object-oriented programming. Object-oriented paradigm leads to systems consisting of units called objects that interact with each other to accomplish tasks. An object is an entity that responds to the messages received from other objects. These objects are described by templates called classes. It describes the properties that all instances or objects of that type have, but does not itself constitute an occurrence of that type. In many of the programming languages, the statements used to define classes resembles the define type statement. For example, the statement used to define a class called stack is similar to the definition of the abstract data type called stack. Class stack, private int stack items equal to new int of 25, private int stack top equal to 0, public void push int value. If stack top less than 25, stack items of stack top plus plus equal to value. Public int pop. If stack top greater than 0, return stack items of minus minus stack top, else return 0. Objects of stack can be created using this class as a template, and the values can be pushed in or popped out from the stack with the help of the procedures specified within the class. These features are same as those associated with abstract data types, but there are some distinctions between classes and abstract data types. Class is an extension of the abstract data types. Object-oriented languages allow classes to inherit properties from other classes and can contain special methods called constructors that customize individual objects when they are created. Classes are normally associated with varying degrees of encapsulation, which protects them from misguided access methods. It is a way of grouping related procedures together. However, the concept of classes and objects represent an evolution in programming by abstractions in programs. Above all, It is a convenient way of defining and using abstractions which leads to the object oriented programming paradigm. And it is time to summarize the session. In this module, a discussion on tree structure is conducted. A tree provides a hierarchical structure with root as the topmost node. Binary tree is a type of tree in which each node has at most 2 child nodes. A sorted binary tree is called a binary search tree. The implementation of the binary tree with both arrays and linked list are discussed here. The module concludes by referring to the user defined types and abstract types. Before going to the next session, please try to answer the following questions. What is meant by a tree structure? What are the advantages of a tree over other structures? What is meant by tree traversal? Define binary tree. What are the applications of binary trees? Explain the representation of a tree as a linked list. What is the difference between an abstract data type and a user defined data type? Differentiate between class and object. Here are some books for your reference. J. Glenn Brookshire, Computer Science An Overview, 10th edition, Addison Wesley. Seymour Lipshot's Theory and Problems of Data Structures, Shor's Outline Series in Computers, McGraw-Hill Book Company. Yashwant Kanitkar, Data Structures through C++, BPB Publications. Hope you enjoyed this session. See you next time. Until then, bye.